Action. I'm not perfect by God, by far from perfect. I'm.
Could we have quiet, please? Excuse me, you had your chance. If you would like to ask a question, please go to the back of the queue. Would you please be quiet? You had your chance. You asked 3 questions.
Now, why don't you line up? Why are you sitting there like a dead duck, Why don't you line up there? You get your turn. You. Line up. Take your turn. Then we know who you are, what you're talking about. See, shouting from there. Now he's discussing strategy. How? Look, my son, I am like anybody else, like you, like anybody else. I am no saint. And I'm not perfect. I'm telling you, this is what Islam teaches. I, you, everybody, you must try to the best of your ability to live by it. Let's say to a degree, I have fallen short of that requirement. I have done it. I have done it.
Good night. Thank you. The next questioner, please. If you would identify yourself.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Omar. I'm a Muslim. I need no other identification except the title that Allah in His infinite wisdom, power, and grace has given to me, and that is that I'm a Muslim. I heard much of what you said and I agreed, and I heard much of what you said and I was hurt and disagreed. I was pained for the children that were here and the language. Of course, we live in a world where language such as that is often used. But what pained me the most was when I heard, if I can quote you, and please allow for my inaccuracies. Sometimes I am often mistaken. If you live in a country, you should be willing to die for it. Well, there are many countries in which I'm willing to live, but there's certainly only one cause for which I'm willing to die. Please clarify yourself if you could.
Yes. Thank you. You see, I made a statement that if a country is worth living in, it is worth dying for. I did say that. Islam teaches us that if you can't live, you can't practice your religion, you can't do things right, then you make hijrah. Allah tells us in the Quran that His earth is vast. For provision, He will provide for you. Make hijrah and go. Go somewhere else. You have no right to remain in a place now. If you are not allowed to practice your faith, your iman, our thing is now, if you are not in a position to practice your deen, you must get out. That is all. So, but if it's worth living in, your country is at war and you sit at home and say, let the people die for you, for your children. I says, no, you must be prepared to defend the country against any outside attack. Right is right, wrong is wrong. But you owe certain loyalties to your country. If you're in Pakistan, you have to defend Pakistan. If you're in Saudi Arabia and there's conscription, in my country, there's no conscription for the black man. But if there is, I can't help it. He said, look, if you live in this country, you have to fight for this country. Otherwise, get out. So this is the answer I can give you, my brother. That I said, if you think it's worth living in, then it's worth dying for. If it's not worth living in, then you are free.
Assalamu alaikum. Brother Sheikh, in bracket Professor Deedat, in your opening speech earlier, you mentioned the course you took in South Africa relating to this Satanic Salman. I think I am in full support of what you did, and I am very pleased with the success you got. But will people, say in predominantly Muslim countries, and also Muslims living in this country, follow the same course? Viewing that the book was written here, published here, which means all those actors, the Queen, the head of state, and other leaders who were accused or abused, have read the book, presumably, or some others have read it and translated it to them. They knew it, and yet they allowed it to be published. So if they didn't object to it, we as Muslims living in this country, though I'm not British, but I'm living here, Should we not protest to defend our own religion, our own faith, our own belief? May I know what you think about the action of our brothers and sisters in Bradford, who really brought us to light to defend our cause? Thank you.
I think you missed the point when I said that if I was here with you when this turmoil was taking place, I would have joined you in your marches, in your crying, in your book burning. I would have been one with you. Did I say that, if you remember? I said that. I would have been one with you. But now I said I have an advantage. I was far away, and it's taken some time for me to see things. In other words, now I can formulate ideas, which you in the midst of turmoil, sitting on a hot stove, you can't do. It's not your fault. I'm not blaming anybody that, look, why couldn't you do this? I said, look, the reason is you were in turmoil. You are on the run. Like Jesus Christ. You see it in the Bible. The man is on the move. Every time he opens his mouth, people want to stone him. So he's on the move. It's a different circumstances from another man who is at peace and rest and he's able to deliver a message. So I have that advantage and experience from other people's mistakes. I'm benefiting. I said, look, this man here on the program was questioned. Have you read the book? And our heroes, almost all, they say no. So I said, no, I mustn't fall foul of that. Suppose I go to Britain and I offered 50,000 pounds to BBC TV. BBC TV, I offered them 50,000 pounds to give me 5 minutes on prime time to give them the best of Rushdie. I said, you want to read in public? You had the blasphemous banquet? Give me only 5 minutes and I give you 50,000 pounds. Give me 5 minutes to read to you the best of Rushdie. No reply. I offered ABC and PBS TV in America $50,000 for 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes. Why I'm able to do that is I'm benefiting from my other brothers' mistakes. They made certain mistakes. I said, no, I won't do that. You know, I might just share this with you. I think Sheikh Sadi Rahmatullah alayh, one of our great philosopher poets, he was asked, he says, where did you learn all these good manners from? Your good manners. You know, you're such a perfect man that we see, you know, well behaved. Where did you learn them from? So he said, I learned them from the unmannerly. So how can you learn manners from the unmannerly? He said, no, you see, everything I see in the other man that I feel is not right, I won't do it. So this thing you did like that, I won't do that. That mistake you did, so no, I won't do that. So I learned my good manners from the unmannerly. What do you? So I was only benefiting from other people's mistakes. That is all.
Thank you very much. You are great.
Next questioner, please. Could you identify yourself, please?
Assalamu alaikum. I have no question, but a request. A request only to Dr. Deedat, what he's doing in this world, to be translate one share with our research and invite everybody to come in speaker corner. Nikal kar khankaon se, Dr. Iqbal says, Maulana Lolabi Kashmiris, in Kashmir is translated in Urdu. Nikal kar khankaon se.
Sir, could you ask your question?
Ada kar rasme shabiri, ke fakre khankai hai fakr andu wo dilgiri. आप सबका काम है निकल जाए घरों से, बारकों को, मस्जिदों को, जहां कोई एक सफेद मिलता है उसको रुश्दी की शैतानियत से आगाह करें. प्लीज ट्रांसलेट इन इंग्लिश.
I'm not an Urdu Khan, but so a few words I understood was that instead of remaining in the monkeries and in your cloisters, you know, saying tasbih and sitting down doing nothing, so get out and do some work. That is what is in essence. That's the message.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, Sheikh Ahmed. It's all right us saying, right, to stop Salman Rushdie for what he's done to the brothers and sisters. But don't you think he's